Welcome back. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Angela.
And today we're going to be working on our mobility series. And one of the most important body parts, well, two body parts, are your lower back and hips. Most people are in pain a lot from sitting too much, and these are your best stretches and dynamic mobility tips to get you feeling great.
So follow along with us, learn something new, and try to work these into your practice on a daily basis. We promise it'll help relieve some of your pain and any tension that you're feeling.
Our first exercise in our hip and lower back series is going to be a standing hip circle. Now this may seem a little silly, but I promise you it's very beneficial, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start by tucking my pelvis out. I'm going to make the biggest circle possible I can one way, and I'm going to make the biggest possible circle the other way. Now it's alright if you bend your knees slightly, that's okay, it may happen, but you really want to drive through the farthest circle back, trying to reach my butt as far as I can back. And I'm going to do this about 4 times each side.
A classic stretch for your lower back is simply passing through a child's pose and then either a cobra or an updog. And these are both very popular moves in yoga, so I'm sure you're familiar with them. But if not, you're going to start on the floor. Again, with your legs bent, you're going to extend those arms forward and press your hips back towards your ankles. So what this is doing is creating space through the vertebrae of your lower spine. After you hang here for about 30 seconds, you could push up into that cobra. And what that's doing is it's now bringing your lower spine into some extension. So you're going back and forth between flexion and extension in your lower back. So you could hold this for another 30 seconds, and again, you could press back and forth between the two of them. So I'm going to press back, knees come to the floor, and hips come right back again. Now if that up dog is a little bit too deep for you, knees are off of the floor, my chest is up pretty high, you could lower your knees to the floor, lower your hips, and even bend your arms a little bit. Everybody is a little bit different, so take it at your own pace. Our next stretch is going to be these classic hip circles that we love. These are so good for you because you're basically moving your leg around in that full range of motion in that hip joint. It's a great opportunity to work and extend that range of motion. You're going to come down into that bear plank position or tabletop. Knees right under the hips, palms right under the shoulder. Arms stay extended the whole time. A lot of people end up bending their elbows. You want to press into that floor with every single finger. My back is nice and straight. My abs are on. And now I'm going to start to do my hip circles, and I'm trying as best as I can to keep my hips squared down. So I'm not rotating open, I'm only trying to move my leg. It's gonna look something like this. While you're doing the hip circle, you want to move very slow and control every portion of the movement. Each rep should take 15 to 20 seconds, but I'm moving a little bit faster so that you could see me move through the repetitions. You first want to drive your knee up towards your elbow, and then rotate your leg out as high as you can and push back, creating the largest circle you possibly can within your hip joint. After you do 3 in one direction, you're going to reverse it, doing the same exact thing. You're going to extend your leg straight back, rotate out, and then drive that knee as high up as you can towards that shoulder and circle back down. Again, you want to do 3 repetitions in each direction, really taking your time.
Our next exercise is going to be a seated straddle. This is pretty easy and you can do this at home. My favorite thing to do is to grab a pillow or something to stick behind your butt, which is going to elevate your hips and make the stretch a little easier. I'm going to open my legs up as wide as possible. And I like to take my hands underneath my calves and push out a little bit further. From here, I'm going to reach forward, and I just want to hold for about 30 seconds, trying to reach as far as I can forward. Once I finish my 30 seconds, I want to rotate side to side. So I'm going to place the hand to the side I'm going to, which is my left hand, behind my back, other arm across my head, and try to reach as far as I can back. Now this is going to get a little more on my right side of my lower back, which is really important if you guys are sitting too much. And again, you want to stay for about 30 seconds. Once you finish that, same thing. My right hand is going to face down, my left hand is going to cross my body, and I'm going to again stretch for 30 seconds each side. The next stretch, and my favorite stretch, is going to be a hip flexor stretch, which shortens as we sit. So you want to do this daily. You're going to place one knee on the floor like a lunge, and simply rotate your hand that your knee is stretching with across your body. You're going to hold this for 1 minute. And if you look at the back of my foot, I like to not be here, but be long, because I want to stretch my hip flexor very long. If this feels comfortable, you can lean forward slightly. And after your minute, we're going to go into a dragon pose, which is similar, but now I'm going to place both hands down outside of my knee and lean forward as much as I can. And if you want a little more extra stretch out of it, bring this leg up and lean in a little bit more, almost putting pressure on this leg. Once you finish 1 minute of each side, we'll switch to the other side and move on to the next one. And if you want to elongate your stretch a little more, you can use your couch or, for instance, a box, as I'm going to do, to lever your leg up. This gets a little more out of that stretch, and I love doing this every day, which is one of the best things I can do for my hip flexor for sitting too long.
Our next stretch is going to be great for your groin and also your adductors, which are little muscles in the insides of your thighs. So what this looks like is going to be a lateral lunge, and we're going to be doing one side at each time. And again, you want to hold for 30 seconds to a minute. All you're going to do is extend one leg out to the side and slowly push back through that opposite hip while keeping that other leg nice and straight extended out. You want to try to keep your chest up, and if this isn't deep enough for you, you could place your hands on the floor and get a little bit deeper. If you want to make this stretch a little bit more dynamic, you're simply going to bring the shin of the leg that's bent down to the floor and extend that ankle so that your toes are on the floor. Keep your hands pressed out in front of you, and you're just going to slowly rock back to where your glute is on top of your ankle, and then slowly just press forward. You could also play around with that extended leg. You could point your toe or flex it, and you could move forward and back. So now we're getting a little bit more of that hip. We're going internal and external rotation. And again, take your time. I like to stay here for about a minute, pushing back and forth, again, feeling the motion. And when I'm done, I'm simply going to bring this leg in, and I'm just going to extend to the other side. So we hope that you learned something new today and that you guys follow along. And again, take your time, don't rush, stay in any stretch or movement that particularly feels best for you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
And these are just guidelines for stretching. So like Angela said, if you want to take longer or it's feeling good, stay there a little longer. Be curious with your body. That's the only way you're really going to know how to change your mobility and mobility restrictions. So thanks guys. Be on the lookout for more mobility tips. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, LeaderLife Fitness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.